Oliver Queen is returning to Flash Season 9. He appears to be returning as a Green Arrow. I'm going to be talking about why he's not only returning as a Green Arrow, but why it's not time travel or a Bloodwork fear vision, why it's through the Spectre. Because there's few people talking about this. I shouldn't say no one. There are few people talking about this. And I want to talk about it in the video. So that's what I'm going to do. The Spectre has the power to return as their counterpart. So Jim Corrigan in Crisis on Infinite Earths, if you remember his first appearance, he returned as himself. He didn't show up as his Spectre alter ego. He showed up as Jim Corrigan, his human self. In the comics, when the Green Lantern, I don't remember who it was, became the Spectre, he returned as himself. He was still the Spectre, and he returned as the Spectre when he was done, but he showed up as a Green Lantern, or as whoever the hell his alter ego was. It is not full-fledged force to say that Oliver Queen comes back as a Green Arrow through the Spectre's powers. I do believe that's what's happening in 909 The Flash, due to some set photos which I'll be showing on screen right now. The way we know that Oliver Queen's back in the Green Arrow suit is, again, because this set photo is kind of grass. You can see his post down below. It'll be Patreon post, but that's the only thing that's up right now, at least as far as I'm recording this video. That's the only thing that's up right now. But yeah, so you'll be seeing the photos on screen, but go check out his Patreon to support him and all that. That's how we knew that he was back in the Green Arrow suit. There's a set photo that resurfaced about like a day later after these set photos came out that, went public, which was that the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, and John Diggle were hugging. Now, people were assuming this was on set, and they didn't read too much into it, but my number one reaction was they were filming, because they were on set together earlier. And they saw each other a few months ago. And this seems like a hug that they would have when they haven't seen each other in like a few years. To me. And Ken and Grass confirmed this, that they were filming this scene. And now if this was like an Out from Our Earth or a past timeline, I don't think he'd be hugging Dig back. I think it'd be thrown off. Like, they're full on hugging here. It's not like Oliver's like confused and, like, they're hugging. So this makes me question, this is obviously present day Dig, but for Oliver's sake, I do believe this is the Spectre returning as a Green Arrow, which is possible. Now, this adds up with the Earth Time comics, where the Spectre returned in issue number 6, and said he's trying to prepare them for a crisis that is coming. That's more powerful than anything they've ever faced. Now, is that per se Bloodwork? I doubt it. But the fact that Dig, Oliver, Wally are all teaming up with Barry in one episode to fight Bloodwork in present day should say something. I mean, it's going to be a big episode. I think it's going to be the best episode of the season, to be honest with you. I really do not see where they can go after this episode to make it any better. I don't really care how Oliver comes back. I'm glad that he is coming back. I've made that clear over the last few days. If you follow me on other socials, I made that publicly clear. I'm glad he's coming back. But people are going to keep asking, how is he back? Or it's time travel, or it's another Earth. I don't see that being the case, because I don't see it. It wouldn't carry that much emotional baggage. Would it still be emotional? Was our Oliver from the past? Yes. But why would Barry go back to Season 8 Arrow, pick up Oliver, when he's going through everything at that point? He's preparing to sacrifice himself to save everyone on the planet. That's not a good time to go back to. He could have gone back to Season 5 times to pick up Oliver then, not Season 8. That makes no sense to me. And why just go back and get Oliver? No, the Spectre would show up then and stop him. So, and again, Bloodwork poses a bigger threat to where we need the Green Arrow. I love him, but Bloodwork, we need the Green Arrow for. No. If anyone were Barry to go back in time to get to fight Bloodwork, it would be Kara or Clark. I don't know, even though I go back in time, but still, it'd be a better reasonable answer than Green Arrow. It'd be much more reasonable and understanding if Bloodwork escaped and, he returns to the Green Arrow to help Barry fight Bloodwork and brings in Diggle and Wally, just teleporting them there. I think that's how they're both going to show up. That or Bloodwork's already in the city, he's already beat Barry once in this episode, and then Wally comes in, Dig shows up, or Dig calls in Wally, says, hey, we need to go to the Central City, or maybe Cisco does. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a phone line to Wally, because we know he does to Diggle. And then they start fighting, they start getting, kind of pushed back, some like they're losing the fight, and then Alvarez reappears with the Green Arrow, and here we are. Now, there's a set photo that came out that was kind of hinting that it could be a time travel scene where Barry or Grant and Steven were regular day clothes walking somewhere in Vancouver, and Grant looked like he was in Barry Allen clothing, going to a CSI scene. It would be a little bit weird if I were to showed up at CCPD crime scene, considering he dead. But I guess they had Nora Allen show up in season 7, so, and no one questioned it. I mean, again, no one saw her, so I guess it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say Oliver needs to go on the crime scene. Maybe it's a scene that Oliver would know more than Barry with his experience and everything he's seen. Or maybe it's there's where arrows fired, so they call on Oliver when he's already there, right? That or he only appears to Barry. Spectre said he's a ghost in Crisis. Oliver said that. So I wonder if, he's going to just only appear to Barry so that no one else can see him. And then Barry will just have to, not make it super obviously he's talking to someone that's not really there. And they're going to believe that he's crazy. That kind of thing. It'd be kind of funny, but also be kind of cool at the same time. That could be the whole case. Why is it normal day clothing, though? That'd be something, but it's something that even is that. I mean, they might not even been filming. I don't know if they were. I haven't seen all the step photos, which is episode 9. But, that could be the case. But I do believe that the Spectre returns as the Green Arrow. Oliver uses Spectre's powers to return as a Green Arrow. I can't imagine them doing time travel. Now, that one set photo where Oliver and Dig are hugging in that scene, if I didn't see that set photo, I wouldn't be probably doing this video right now, to be honest with you. Well, at least not this kind of video. It'd be a completely different video talking about Oliver, Wally, and Dig and, set photos. So just particularly Oliver. But when we saw that set photo, my number one reaction was, this is a Spectre returning as a Green Arrow. It should be, frankly. It carries much more emotional weight with Oliver returning as... So the fact that we are getting them hugging does lead me to believe that this is Spectre returning as a Green Arrow. Again, it would add more weight to the emotion of the episode. It would add more effects to the episode as well to leave it, in our minds for the rest of our lives. That this iconic moment. And the also thing is that this is such a fan service, not only for Oliver back, but also that present day Oliver, present day Dig got that scene together that we didn't get in Crisis. Diggle was not there for Oliver once in Crisis. They screwed Diggle over big time. I don't care if it was time issues or whatever, they screwed Diggle over big time in Crisis. And he never got made up for it. They can do that now. They can make up for that crappy writing that they did in Crisis now. We didn't get Barry and Oliver working together one last time, just them two. or just, with a small group of people. We didn't get that in the final season of Arrow or Crisis. We had Barry, Oliver, Mia, Kara, Clark, Kate, all these heroes working together, and Sarah too, but we didn't have Barry and Oliver really have any scenes together besides one or two. I think it was even one, wasn't it? Where it's just them two? We didn't have that. And Barry has made very clear over the last 2 seasons that if he could have, he would have went back in time and saved Oliver. He said that in 704 of The Flash, that he tried to go back in time and save Oliver, but he didn't or couldn't because the time no longer exists. Season 8, during the Duststorm arc, we had a scene where Duststorm's, fear, whatever, his flame showed up as Nora Allen and showed him that he hasn't really dealt with Oliver's death. In Armageddon, Oliver's death was brought up into the limelight. And, it was a really emotional scene with Barry and Black Lightning. So, this is gonna be an emotional episode, period. And I said this several times on Twitter, Instagram, both of them. And I think even in some videos I've done over episode 9 alone, this episode has to be Barry-centric, with Oliver, Diggle, and Wally joining up on that centric episode. We cannot have Iris in it 24/7. We can have 1 or 2 scenes with Iris. That's all that's needed. Wally and Iris were the only 2 people that need to interact in episode 9 with Iris and Barry. Barry and Wally are the 2 people that need to interact with Iris in episode 9. But that's it. We don't need Team Flash appearing in every 5 minutes. This is the one episode out of the series that we don't need everyone else in. It's just Barry, Oliver, Diggle, and Wally. That is it. I know all the West Allen fans out there are going to be so pissed off that I said I don't want Iris on 1 episode out of the season. Go cry a river and screw off. This is the one episode that we don't need Iris in, or Cecile, or Joe, or, anyone else. We don't need them in it. It needs to be Barry, Oliver, Dig, and Wally. If they really want to bring Iris in, do one or 2 scenes that are less than 3 minutes of Wally and Iris, seeing each other and saying bye to each other. That's it. We don't need a whole thing. That's not needed at all. It needs to be Barry-centric. For the episode to be remembered, for it to be honorable, and for it to be recognized for the rest of the show's history, this episode needs to be Barry-centric. The West Allen fans are getting whatever the hell they want this season. Eric Wallace folded, and he's giving them more Iris. Good for you. Go stay in your own corner. This is the episode that the true hardcore Arrowverse fans that have been watching since the OG seasons, whether that's season 3, 2, 1, or Arrow, the OG seasons, or from the very, 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 very beginning, this is an episode where it's about us. Not about Iris, not about the West Allen fans, or, the Chegra fans, as much as I love that ship. It's not about that. It is about Barry, Oliver, Diggle, and Wally. That is it. I don't get why it's so hard for people to understand, but apparently it is. And also, let's not forget to point out that Iris literally roasted Oliver last season. Just hated on him with Mia. Kind of tells you that she doesn't really know much. So I would prefer if it was just Barry, Oliver, Dig, and Wally. If they really need Iris, 2 scenes with Wally and Iris, and that's it. We don't need more. We don't. And with Bloodwork being a big villain as he is, he should take up most of the episode. And, I can't imagine that Barry and Oliver don't have a bar scene. I really can't imagine it. Because they always have one thing they've ever caused. We didn't get that in Crisis. Remember? We didn't get that because he died. So, I wouldn't be surprised if, Barry and Oliver are in a bar and they're having a beer at the end of 909. I would not be surprised. And I think that'd be the best way to end the episode. That's the only way to end the episode. Or at least, like, the final scenes, and then final scene gonna be Oliver leaving. We're, going away to Spectre and, just not being there for a while, at least. That could be something they can do. That they can easily pull off in 909, if they do it right, which I think they will. I think Eric Wallace knows what the Arrowverse fans want from this episode, and he's going to deliver. He may be folding to the West Allen group that are a bunch of idiots, but 909 needs to be about the Arrowverse, and it's going to be about Oliver and Barry, and Diggle and Wally. That's what most of Flash fans have been wanting, and he's delivering on that. I think that's something important to keep in mind, something to point out, and something to remember as we're going into Season 9 of The Flash. That this season will be massive fan service. Will it be as good as Season 8? To me, no. I already know that for a fact that Season 9 will not be better than Season 8. But it can damn well be a close second just alone with Oliver showing up. To me, it will be a close second if with just Oliver showing up, if they do it right. It can be a good season. It won't be the worst, but it won't be the best. But it'll be something. It'll be good. And it'll have OG feelings to the show that we haven't had since Season 2. Or kind of Season 8 too, I guess. But in some episodes here and there. But yeah, so I think that's watch this video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.